Hello, BookTube. Well, it's day one of BookTube-a-Thon 2017. Those of you who might not be familiar with it, I can't believe any of you are, but it's the BookTube-wide phenomenon organized by Ariel Bissett uh, that tries anyway, to draw together the hugely expanding community of BookTube into a week-long festivity of reading, and to help organize that. Although she says, repeats over and over again, and so does everybody else, that it's not required at all. But to help organize it, she's come up with Ariel's come up with uh, reading challenges day by day. There's a whole bunch of other things too, reading sprints, and there are Instagram challenges and all sorts of other things. Video challenges too, little things that you can do on video. I'm not going to do any of those things, but I do want to participate. So I'm going to make a video for each day's challenge, just that. And the reading prompt, the reading challenge for day number one, is to read a book with a person on the cover. And the book that I chose is For 2,000 Years in a New English Translation. This is by the author who went under the pen name of Mihail Sebastian, and I have upped the ante on the choose a book with a person on the cover by choosing a book with a Super-Hottie on the cover. And the Super-Hottie is actually our author when he was a boy. And it's my first BookTube-a-Thon foray was not a complete success, and it's no fault of the translator. This translation into the English language is by an Irish author named Philip O'Kellia, and it's a fine job. It's a fine job that he does. It's the book itself that was the problem for me. It's the story of a young Jewish Romanian student who's caught up in the rising. He's caught between and caught up in the rising fervor in his country in in the 1930s of rising anti-Semitism and also more and more strident Zionism, and he just wants to go on with what he's doing, reading and thinking about authors and going to lectures and doing a little writing, and it more and more that becomes impossible as his friends divide up into camps and are less and less tolerant of him unless he is intolerant of others. And the problem that I have with the book, it has nothing to do, again, with the translation. It also has nothing to do with the writing. This translator has spent a lot of time in Eastern Europe. He catches, I believe, the feel of the book probably as well as it can be captured. The problem is that the book is completely autobiographical. It's completely autobiographical to the point where it is an autobiography except for quotation marks. And that kept distracting me. Because every time I came across a scene or a person, all I wanted to do was read the author writing to me about that material. And I never got it. Instead, I got moment after moment after moment like that, draped in the outside garments of fiction, and not particularly compelling fiction either. The critics from the UK, this appeared there first, that have hailed this as a fictional masterpiece ought to quit drinking at lunch, because that's just ridiculous. And the problem that I had with it, of constantly being distracted by the autobiography of it, is incredibly strengthened by the knowledge that every reader is going to have reading this thing, which is that Mihail Sebastian also wrote an autobiography. He kept extensive journals that were published in an English language translation, I think about 20 years ago, and they're incredible. Just incredible. Absolutely compelling, far more so than this, because they're not trying for any neat little lessons. You get to it doesn't have a climax. There is no plot to this book, and there are no real characters either. But when you get to the end, the emotions are supposed to be heightened. You get passages like this that are just plopped in there. I guess they're our main character. 2,000 years can't be overcome by leaving for somewhere. They would have to be forgotten, and the wound cauterized, their melancholy cut to the ground with a scythe. But the truth is that there are too many years for us to be able to forget them. We live always in the troubled memory of them. The memory reaches far back and hangs like a haze over the horizon of our future. Only rarely, through the history of warfare, victories, and kingdoms, does any light pierce the mist. Is it possible to build a new history from such material? There are philosophical digressions like that all throughout this thing, and they don't fit. They don't fit at all. Either that or the fiction doesn't fit with them. And one way or another, like I said, the main problem I had with the book is knowing that the pure, undefiled spring of what the author thinks about any of this stuff, this exact same period, is contained in his diaries, the raw material of which he used to craft this novel. So, I mean, I know that on this channel I am a wee bit intolerant of fiction, especially when there's good nonfiction to be read. This is a case where the two are literally standing side by side, and so comparisons are inevitable. And in this particular case, the Diaries, which is a book that you can go out and get, also has a picture of the author on the cover, are just infinitely more compelling. Dialogue is still remembered, scenes are still reconstructed, but without any of the, let me see if I can sand this down or spritz it up a little so that, maybe it'll appeal to a broader audience. I don't know. I have a precious hard time figuring out why people read fiction to begin with, but why they would read this when they have the nonfiction, the extensive and gripping nonfiction account that this was drawn from, I absolutely do not know. so I'm in the rock position of starting off BookTube-a-Thon with a very ambitious new translation of a work, and that part I wholeheartedly encourage. I'm very happy to know that when does this come out? This comes out in mid-September in the U.S. I'm very happy to know that this book will be staring at prospective buyers from the new release stacks of every bookstore in the country. That I'm very happy to know that as a window to a world that maybe these people didn't know about. I think that's just great. But I myself have to report that my first foray on BookTube-a-Thon for 2017 is a bit of a dud. I call them like I see them. So I'm going to move on from here to day 2 tomorrow, and we'll hope for better luck then. But if those of you who are doing BookTube-a-Thon, feel free in the comments to let me know how your first day went. I'm dying to know. And I hope you had better luck than I did. So I'll sign off for now, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.